Hello everyone, welcome to Probable Magic, and can you believe it? It is episode number 50. This is a big milestone episode, one that I really had no idea whether or not I'd ever reach when I first started this series, and we're going to talk about something interesting today, which is certainly relevant to me. That is turning your hobby into a value stream. And it's relevant to me because it is very directly one of the reasons for this show. Now, if you look at financial advice from any number of experts, one of the common things you will see is a recommendation to turn your hobby, your leisure time, into an income stream. That is something that I think many people have managed to successfully do out of Magic: The Gathering. At this point, that is not something that I've identified a route to doing, and to be quite honest, I'm not actively looking. Because so many people have successfully done that, I think the barrier to entry on getting into that now successfully is pretty high, and probably not one that I'm interested in trying to meet. But as we talked about often on this show, there's lots of different kinds of value. Just like in drafting, we look at value of fun and value of cards and value of prizes. There's all different kinds of value, and there's value to hobbies of fun, of course, and if you're successful in turning them into an income stream, then that's a value. But there's other ways to turn your hobby into a value stream other than direct income. And as I mentioned, that's something that is very relevant to me and this show, because it was part of my reason for starting the show, not something I've spoken about previously. I wanted to get a certain number of episodes in before acknowledging this in a public way. But 50 seems like a nice milestone to do that. So, there was a skill that I wanted to improve on. And just because it would be helpful to me at work, primarily, but probably in other areas as well. And one of the things that I've always tried to do with my hobbies is look to where I can take opportunities in them to improve on skills I'm trying to build. And that skill was presenting information. Presenting information in a better way, primarily in a context where it's not so much a conversation between people, but very one-sided, of having to carry the bulk of the talking, which is very different from a conversation. And I was looking for ways to do that, and listening to limited resources podcasts pretty heavily at the time, because I was trying to improve my Magic game, and Marshall Sutcliffe was speaking about being a commentator, and I particularly enjoy listening to Marshall talk. And I had finished listening at that time to all the current limited resources episodes, and I had started listening to limited resources somewhere around episode 180 or so, And then I'd gone back a little bit, and at this time they were probably up around, I don't even remember. I may even have those numbers wrong. But I was listening to limited resources, and being caught up, I went back and said, I wonder what episode 1 was. And one of the things that just struck me very deeply right away was what a change there was in Marshall's speaking between episode 1 and episode 200 something. And that makes perfect sense. If you want to get better at something, you practice it and improve on it. And so I was looking for an opportunity to improve on my speaking and presentation of information, and thought, what if I did a magic show? Because I needed something to talk about. I could sit here and talk to myself, but needed something to talk about, and had the idea of, I can use my hobby in magic to create this opportunity to do that. And that led into this show, which has, as we've talked about, greatly changed form over the past couple months. I originally said, the world, the internet doesn't need just another drafting show, because there's people out there who are much better than I am at it. But there's some other things that would be interesting to talk about, and boy, did I read that situation wrong. One of the first episodes I posted, I had done the sound wrong, and there was no sound, and yet that got several views of me drafting with no sound, where some of the first couple episodes I had done where I was not playing and just talking got no attention whatsoever. So that was my goal, and it's shifted. Now it's primarily drafting, which I'm really enjoying, and still talking about some things. And you can tell me if it's working. Go back to episode number 1 and listen to that versus the current episode. I think there's a big difference in trying to improve at presenting information. Not where I want to be yet, and some of that's an artifact of my opportunities to play Magic are typically 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'm pretty tired. Sometimes I more actively try to work on the speaking and presenting information aspect of it than others. Sometimes I kind of let that go almost entirely, and it really is just about playing, and that's fine too. And also I have limitations in the quality of equipment and software, because I'm cheap and wasn't willing to spend any additional money on this lark that could have faded out very quickly. So I've got my basic Logitech headset and some freeware I downloaded for recording, and still at this point I'm not interested in spending any additional money on better equipment or software, because that's money that could be spent playing Magic. That said, being 50 episodes in, I do kind of want to take this to the next level, because often what I've done is just kind of log on and set up the recorder and ramble on for whatever was on my mind for a few minutes and go. And I want to take it a bit more seriously now, being 50 episodes in. And as soon as I figure out exactly what that means, I I will let you know, and you'll see it. But that being said, let's play draft.